Hey everybody, welcome back to 13 Rings, an NFC East podcast. I'm your host Lucas with Mal and Maurice here. Earl is sadly working election night. We wish him the best, but before we get into week 9 or anything else, I do want to introduce our special guest, Jay Tuck. And for those that don't know Jay Tuck, tell the people a little bit more about yourself. Like, what do? You do a lot of radio work, a lot of podcasting work, and how about you introduce yourself a little bit, bud?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. A huge fan of your show and your content, so I was excited to come on and talk Dallas Cowboys football, even though we're kind of bad this year. But yeah, Jay Tuck, diehard Dallas Cowboys fan, just known that since birth, unfortunately. So I was actually grew up in Muskogee, Oklahoma. So if you ever heard the terms Okie from Muskogee, right? That is where I was born. And close to Oklahoma and also Texas, you kind of just born into Cowboys fandom. So my mom pretty much raised me to be a Cowboys fan. She's a huge Tony Dorsett fan, and I was kind of born into it. And then pretty much around like the 93 season when Deion Sanders came to Dallas, that's when I really became a Cowboys fan on my own accord. Started watching every game, buying the jerseys, and I've been stuck here ever since. So, huge Cowboys fan, and I just love the sport of football.
Absolutely. And before we get into anything else, I do want to go over our season 9 predictions from the preseason real quick. So we know that you didn't make these predictions, but we all have the Dallas Cowboys winning this game, and that is not a good look for anybody here. So that did not happen.
Yeah.
Now, we also all messed up with the Commanders-Giants game because we all had the Giants winning that game.
Ooh.
Okay.
So that was.
I'm just gonna say this before we get into the content, Lucas. We gotta re-go over the bet because you won.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did win, didn't I?
Don't give up yet, Mal. Don't give up.
Yeah, well, we'll go. So
give up.
for those that don't remember, me and Mal made a little off-season bet. Whoever's team won this season series, which means that you swept, the other person would have to wear a shirt customized with a player's name on the back from the winning team's team. Now, I think we said for you, Mal, you got to get a Sam Hartman one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Hey, at least he's your favorite college player. It could be worse.
I can't believe I have to waste money on that team. But
Well, I will say that you do not have to do it until the Super Bowl. Okay?
fine. It gives me
Yeah,
time.
but you have to have it as your profile picture all Super Bowl week.
Oh my god. Okay, fine.
Yes.
Jeez. I actually got confused the two bets Mal had. Mal might win the bet with Earl.
Oh, yeah. Mal's the one making all these bets out here, Jay Tuck. You gotta watch
didn't
out
make
for
any of
that.
these bets. Earl and Lucas both did these bets for me, and listen, but I lost, so.
Well, Mal, you're very strong in your stance about your team.
Just say no.
Right.
Just say no. You're allowed to say no. But regarding the Eagles, week 9, we all had them winning, and that is exactly what happened. Good job, Maurice.
It was a little difficult at the end, but we got it done.
Absolutely. So, real quick, Jay Tuck was telling us a little bit already about how he became a fandom, and just a reminder for everybody: where do you have most of your content creation again?
Yeah, so I do a lot of my content on CFO Sports. That is my YouTube channel. So we do a lot of Cowboy stuff. But right now we're doing a lot of draft stuff. So, I did start doing a lot of draft stuff in the 2021 year, and a lot of fans really liked it. So, one of the draft points that I love doing is just kind of scouting players and going over these college players and hopefully bridging the gap from college to the NFL. So we do a lot of draft stuff over there as well. You can also find me every Saturday morning on the ship here in Kansas City on ESPN Kansas City on radio. We do a lot of Chiefs coverage, also Kansas Jayhawks coverage, which I cover the Kansas Jayhawks football team as well. And then also, I'm on XPicks, and XPicks is a new platform that's been launched by Des Bryant. So I'm doing a lot of content over there for the sports betting community. So I'm pretty much everywhere, man. I'm staying busy, but I just love to talk football with passionate football fans everywhere. And of course, you guys can find me on all social media platforms.
Absolutely. And, we love draft content here. Earl's actually just starting to dive into it for us here, so that's really cool. Kansas, I'm just going to say this year, watch out for, I'm a big West Virginia fan, so I appreciate that win there. Appreciate that a little bit. We played you guys, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Appreciate that win. But,
Yeah.
we'll figure out NFC East football here in a couple weeks right before Thanksgiving, I believe. So, in the meantime, you talk about all these companies that you work for, but what got you into content creation to begin with?
Funny story. It was just a pandemic. So a good friend of mine, Skywalker Steele, who does a phenomenal content for A to Z Sports, he reached out to me on the side. I was like, hey, man, you need to come on my channel, because he saw the conversation I was having on Twitter. So at the time, I had no idea this content space even existed. I was, just working, not even paying much attention to it. So he brought me on the show, and we talked for like 2 hours. And a lot of people in the chat was like, where can I find him? Where can I subscribe? Where's his channel? And where's his channel? I was like, I don't have one. So I started a channel, and one of my very first videos for that year was me predicting that the Cowboys was going to draft CeeDee Lamb. And at the time, I got so many comments, that's never going to happen. He's not going to fall this far. He's an idiot. Who is this guy? Like, are you kidding me? And then lo and behold, look what happened, right? So that kind of been my big spark to content. So yeah, I would just say Skywalker Steele just bringing me on this platform and introducing me to the Cowboys community, which is a great community, so many great, incredible people, incredible minds. So I'm just truly blessed and fortunate to be a part of it.
I gotta say, sometimes it's crazy how people just kind of walk into this space. I had a similar story. So I used to be a basketball sports writer, editor. I covered the Philadelphia 76ers, and I still do a podcast on, once a week for them too. But, and then I kind of just, but I never wanted to podcast. I didn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. And then my co-editor was just like, hey, we're going to start it for the site. Be really good if you came on just for a few episodes to help establish it. I'm like, sure, whatever. And then bam, I'm here. Like, I think we started in 2019. So yeah, I've been podcasting. I've probably done close to 500 episodes now of total podcasting. It's crazy, but I love your story. Great story. So what is your favorite Cowboys memory? You can't say beating the Redskins / Commanders. It's going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I would say, of course, I would say the Super Bowls were one of my greatest memories, but, I would say recent... I would say one of my favorite games was the Saints Thursday night game. What year was that? 2017, 2018? Where the Saints were coming in, they were rolling, and the Cowboys pretty much were like back against the wall. A lot of people thought the Cowboys had no chance, and that was the game that Dez Bryant was actually supposed to return as a Saint to Dallas, but he actually didn't do it that game. So I think that would probably be one of my favorite games I've attended. I've attended so many. I would say another one would probably be the playoff game versus the Seahawks. That was a fun one. The Tampa Bay Bucks finally beating Tom Brady. So there's so many Cowboys memories, but nothing tops winning a Super Bowl. But I was so young at that age. I remembered it, but I really didn't remember it. So.
I got you. That's more than fair. That's more than fair.
Yeah.
So now that we talked about going back down memory lane, let's talk about your favorite Cowboy player of all time.
It's tough, right? Because there's so many I can name, but me personally, it's the guy who has got the phone beaten in Madden. Wink, wink, is Dez Bryant, man. I love Dez. I love Dez's energy. So, my family, they're all Oklahoma State alumni. So I was watching Dez play in college, and, I was like, man, I just want to get this guy to be a Dallas Cowboy. Like, I just dreamed about it, and I never thought it was going to happen. I still remember, the trade up to go get him, and I was just rejoiced. So I would say Dez Bryant's one of my favorite all-time Cowboys players. Just the toughness, the mindset, the attitude that he brought to this team. Like, at the end of the day, I always knew there was going to be someone out on the field that wanted to win as bad as I did, and that was Dez. But another one, man, I'm a Florida State fan as well. So, you got to say Deion Sanders primetime. That's the one that really attracted me to the Cowboys, where I saw the big stars on the shoulder and the bandana and the commercials and the Pepsi commercial and, all sorts. It was just like bigger than life. So I would say Deion Sanders, but also Dez Bryant. So I'm kind of cheating on that answer, but I would go with Deion and Dez.
I think those are two very good answers. I don't think many people would argue with that. That being said, any other Cowboys thoughts before we get into the game and before we get to the trade deadline? Stuff going on, because the trade deadline just finished today. Any other thoughts that you wanted to share regarding the Cowboys in general. Because Earl preaches to us about the Jerry Jones of it all.
Yeah, and I think that is kind of what you're starting to see right now is a lot of people, not just Cowboys fans, but you're seeing local media, national media, finally start to point the light in the proper direction, which is Jerry Jones, right? You kind of heard it around the league, right? It's always Dak Prescott is this and Dak Prescott is that, and Micah Parsons podcast. But I feel like this year, a lot of people, not just Cowboys fans, are saying, okay, none of this really makes sense. So you mentioned today, right? The Dallas Cowboys trade a 4th-round pick for Jonathan Mingo. Okay, so Brandon Cooks has pretty much been out for almost 4 weeks, and you knew that you needed wide receiver help, but Dak Prescott is now going to be on IR, and he's going to be out 4 weeks, so the season is pretty much doomed, right? Why would you trade a promising 4th-round pick for a 2nd-round guy when you can probably could have used that and maybe just moved up in the 3rd round or the 2nd round of the draft this year and really got a wide receiver with promise? So, it's just these head-scratching thoughts and decisions that are coming down from our front office. And so I think that a lot of people are starting to say, all right, well, who is running the show? And when you look at who's running the show, it's a owner/GM and Jerry Jones. And I see that's why he's getting a lot of pressure publicly, locally. I mean, he's sweating bullets under every interview. And you probably guys already heard, him snapping at the radio guys and all sorts of stuff, because a lot of people are really starting to look at the real problem in Dallas, which is Jerry Jones.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think when it comes to Jerry Jones, I think, there's the age thing, but then we have questions. There's always been questions, but they always seem to be deflected because the Cowboys are doing good. Mm-hmm. Guess what? They're not doing good this year. And so the questions are starting line. We talk about, former players talk about how they felt like they were at a carnival or a zoo or something whenever at the Dallas Cowboys practice facility. And then, we go back to like the 1950s when Arkansas University was still segregated, and there's that one picture of Jerry Jones there, right? Mm-hmm. So, right. And, these questions were always pushed to the side because it's the Dallas Cowboys. They win, and they're America's team, but guess what? Now they're not, and he's also having I don't even know how to describe it. He has an illegitimate child trying to make a name for themselves by being recognized as legitimate by him, right? Is that the basic gist of it? I'm not too familiar with that case.
Yeah. So there was someone that was claiming that she was his daughter, and they went. I think he really beat that case, but. To sum everything up, there's a lot of unnecessary distractions, right? You talk about the tours and being able, like, literally, guys, like, I don't think people understand this. You can go watch the Dallas Cowboys work out. I can go watch them eat in the cafeteria. I can go just watch them, like,
that's so weird.
It is weird. And a lot of people like, oh, it's not that. I mean, it's 1,000% a bigger deal when you see Cowboys players just sitting there eating the cafeteria, and I have my cell phone out and I'm screaming Zeke or Dak or ZE while they're just trying to practice and get their focus. So it's so crazy, but everything is nickel and dime and sold, like you said, like a circus. It's an amusement park where if you want to watch the players walk into the stadium, you can do that. You can shake all their hands pre-game and stand by the sideline. You can pay for that. You can go on the field after the game. You can pay for that. If you want to watch them practice, you can pay for that. If you want to go sit in their locker, like it's just like going to Universal Studios or Disney. And as soon as you get off the ride, you go into the pro shop, and that is exactly how Jerry has built this thing. And I think Cowboys fans are frustrated because we want football to be the main thing, not everything else. If you just win games, Cowboys fans, we're going to do our job. We're going to sell out. We're going to be there. We're going to buy merch. We're going to do everything. But right now, we're not getting the football product, but we got everything else. I tell everyone, the Cowboys just lost to the Atlanta Falcons. What did I get Monday as a season ticket holder? An invoice for playoff tickets. It's just, It asked my guy called me and was like, "Do you want to make a deposit for playoff tickets?" And he was like, "Tuck, I know. I just have to ask." Okay. It was like, because he was about to get an earful.
Wow, that is great. Well, talking about the Falcons loss, let's get into that game. I wasn't watching that because I had another game that I had to keep my eyes on, but I'm sure you watched it, J Tuck. Can you tell us about that outcome?
Yeah. So, going into the game, I already thought it was going to be a tall order to beat the Falcons. The Falcons are playing well, and we just have a lot of injuries, right? No DeMarcus Lawrence, no Micah Parsons, Deron Bland is still out. We have no Brandon Cooks. Trayvon Diggs was a game-time decision with a calf strain. So, even going into the game, I didn't feel good about it. And then you had a distraction, right? Right before that, Ezekiel Elliott was not even traveling with the team for disciplinary action. So once again, another unnecessary distraction. And I think overall, the team battle, I would say our defense played well, but our offense is struggling. And our offense can't do the basic things right. We can't run the ball. We can't protect our quarterback. And when you do protect our quarterback, the wide receivers aren't getting open. I think it's just a recipe for disaster. When you look at this Cowboys offense, when it comes to the weaponry, it's pretty much CD and them, meaning we have CeeDee Lamb and nobody else, right? I mean, you guys probably can't even pick our other wide receivers out of a lineup, but Jalen Brooks and Jalen Tolbert and Kevontae Turpin and Ryan Flournoy. You probably never.
I have Kevontae Turpin on my fantasy team.
Okay, yeah.
But I will say Rico Dowdle had a good game.
Rico had a good game, right? But I just feel like when it comes to Rico, he's not really a threat. If a defensive coordinator is probably going to come out there and say, you know what, I'll take my chances. If Rico Dowdle beats us, we'll take that. But I'm not going to allow CeeDee Lamb to do it. I just downloaded Madden today, and I'm just still trying to figure out how I beat somebody else without CeeDee Lamb. So it's like, it's those challenges. I really expected a lot more from Jake Ferguson. He had the injury early this season, but he really hasn't emerged like we thought. And defensively, it's just like they're trying, but there's too many miscommunications. We saw the wheel route that was wide open, and that was a simple man coverage. So, a lot of these different things, and I feel like the biggest problem with the Dallas Cowboys this year, you can't out-talent your way through the regular season. I feel like we've been getting away with it in past seasons, but this year we can't, and we also can't coach, we can't scheme. It's just another recipe for disaster.
Absolutely, but that wasn't the only disaster. We saw Mike McCarthy get mad and bust the tablet. He's probably going to be out. Does he make it through the season, or does he get booted?
Yeah, I think he makes it through. I think the only reason he makes it through is because Jerry ain't got no other options, right? So I just feel like
Al Davis. No, not Al Davis. Al Harris. Sorry.
Al Harris, I think Al Harris is a guy that they like, but I don't think that they're thinking that he's a future head coach, right? So if they gave Al Harris the interim job, he's pretty much just interviewing for another role, right? Because a lot of people, forget when Dan Quinn went to Washington, he also took Joe Witt, and yes. Al Harris tried to go. Jerry Jones blocked it, right? So It's just one of those things. Is Al Harris probably would he be considered the future head coach of Dallas? I highly doubt it. So I doubt he get that opportunity.
I think he should.
He should. The players like him, but I just don't think he's going to get that opportunity. Now, I say if this was last year and this situation was happening, you had Dan Quinn sitting there, then I think Mike McCarthy would have probably been long gone. But, I tell people right now, man, if the Cowboys move on to Mike McCarthy and promote Mike Zimmer, I'm going to pack my bags, and I don't know, man. I might just start watching hockey or something during the season because
Dallas Mavericks are going to be good again.
Yeah. Luka Magic, man. I'll be full course. I've changed my channel to Luka Sports or something like that because I'm just not going for that. So
no, that's fair. That's fair. But there was something that the cameras caught. The audio didn't, but the cameras caught it, and it was pretty clear to see that. Dak and I, we are PG, so I will say the PG version of this, which he mouthed, which seemed to have said this team blanking sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are your thoughts on your franchise quarterback that just got the biggest payday ever, saying that about your team after he got hurt?
I mean, my first thing that comes to mind when I see people talk about it is like, well, did he lie?
No.
That's the thing. It's like, Dak was probably saying the same thing that I was saying and a lot of Cowboys fans were saying, right? So, I get it, right? It's the Dallas Cowboys, but if you were to put the camera on any player or any team, right, throughout the course of what's being said on the sidelines, you probably get that a lot, right? And I play football, in college, and, I would say things like, I don't know why he's in the game because he's not. You would say stuff like that. So I really don't think that he meant any ill intent, but I mean, he probably saw it. I think what happened was Cooper Rush hit a wide receiver right in the hands, and he dropped it. And he's probably just like, "This is pitiful." Like,
Yeah.
And sometimes you need that. I'm sure Tom Brady has said worse. I'm sure Peyton Manning has said worse. I'm sure Pat Mahomes here in Kansas City has said worse. But of course, when it's the Dallas Cowboys, everything is magnified. And I feel like right now since it's the Cowboys, we're struggling. Now the cameras are trying to aim for something for the players to say on the sideline, right? Because it all kind of started in versus the Steelers, where it was like CeeDee Lamb was telling Dak to throw the jump ball, right? And it's like, why are we slowing down all the lip movements now in Dallas all of a sudden? Well, because Tuck, they need to create a story to tell. So, it's unfortunate, but I don't take any ill will from Dak. I know the type of temperament Dak is. I know the type of leader he is. If there's anybody who wants to win and still believes that we can win, is Dak Prescott. I don't know about everybody else in the roster, but Dak Prescott is one of those guys who still thinks that we can probably win. But, it's just, I didn't take too much into it.
So, J-Tuck, you want to hear some interesting stats here?
Let's go.
So, on the season, now we do QB rankings throughout the season. We do it once per week, and we rank them by best QBR, right? Best to worst, right? Right now, Daniel Jones has a better QBR than Dak Prescott.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Daniel Jones is 47.9. Dak Prescott is 46.7.
Mm-hmm.
To that stat, let me ask you something, J-Tuck. Do you think, we all agree Mike McCarthy will not be there next year, do you think Jerry Jones would move on after one season from Dak's contract?
No, he can't, right? He can't because
that thing's untradeable.
Yeah, it's untradeable. He would have to restructure, and then also he has a no trade clause, right? So it would have to be something where Dak really wants to go somewhere, like if it's, let's say Pittsburgh, right? Because I know that's kind of the talking pieces. He would have to probably restructure, remove the clause, and then go that route. But I highly doubt that the Cowboys are going to move on from Dak Prescott anytime soon.
Yeah, look, and I mean, like, Dak's having a down year, but a down year for Dak Prescott is leading the division in passing yards with 1,978, leading the league division in touchdowns with 11 passing touchdowns. Granted, he's also leading the division in interceptions. Surprisingly, right. It's not Daniel Jones. Sorry, Mal. But yeah, no, and look, I've decided that, every time that a team or two does bad in our division, we did this last year, with the Commanders being as bad as they were, I came up with a phrase. It was hail to the process. Last year and this season, the Giants we tank our way. Mm-hmm. So, how, I think it was 2 years ago, Mike McCarthy came up with Carpe Omnia, which means seize everything, right?
Yeah.
So I decided to make my own version for y'all for the rest of this season. It's called Carpe Penesium.
Okay.
Which means seize the tank. It's time to go full tank. Do not even start Cooper Rush. Go for all out. Go for what's his name?
The Cowboys tank.
Yeah, I'm surprised Trey Lance wasn't an option.
Yeah, Trey Lance. Yeah, go for Trey Lance. Have him start. Why not? Jonathan Mingo, he's not going to make a big impact this year. We'll talk more about it in a little bit. But, look, seize the tank. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Yeah.
You only have 3 wins on the season. If you guys lose out, you're probably guaranteed a top 5 to 6 pick, right? So why not?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think the Cowboys will tank, but I think they have no choice, right? You look at the schedule. I just don't see wins anytime soon, especially without Dak Prescott. So, I know that people are like, "Oh, we'll never tank, and we shouldn't tank." I'm like, I don't see us beating Philly. I don't see us turning around beating Houston. I don't see us turning around beating Washington, and then maybe even beating Cincinnati with Cooper Rush as a quarterback. I know that a few years ago he went on this magical run and he's 5-1. But let's be honest, that was led by the defense only holding teams to 17 points. The defense was also scoring points, and we were also getting special teams that were scoring points as well. Cooper Rush really just had to hold things afloat. I don't think he's going to be able to do that versus the caliber of talent that we're going to be playing against during the stretch. So it's going to get ugly, right? I know that a lot of people, this is the argument amongst Cowboys fans. It's like, oh, well, we shouldn't go with Trey Lance. If you go with Trey Lance, I feel like he would be the biggest upside spark. So if you really want to try to win and kind of catch people by surprise, you probably would go to Trey Lance. But if you want to just kind of just lose, season's over, no excitement, then you stick with Cooper Rush and let him be a sitting duck behind our offensive line.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And so, real quick to wrap up, who's the player of the game for the Cowboys in this loss?
Whoa. Brandon Aubrey, probably. I mean, that's about it. The one guy I can say that I'm really excited about through all this doom and gloom of Cowboys fans and the way the season has gone is DeMarvion Overshown, our quote unquote sophomore, but I'll say pretty much our rookie linebacker. He's played outstanding. He's been a live wire. He's been a boost of energy. So I would probably say he's the player of the game because he's the only one I really see out there still giving 100%. And me personally, that is all that I'm looking for as the Cowboys are continuing throughout this season is who is still giving their all. Because if you're not, you're loafing, you're quitting, I'll probably want to move on from you in the off season.
Fair enough. So let's go ahead and go to the main matchup of the week. Not Cowboys, sorry. We just got done talking about them. Commanders versus the Giants, round 2. And like me and Mal already alluded to, I won the bet this year. I'm excited about that. But, Mal, how about you go first? Tell the Commanders won this game, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we won... Give me 1 second here. I got to pull it back up. 27-22. Mal, let's go with you. What went wrong? What went right for the Giants?
I mean, I don't even know what else to say anymore, guys. I feel like I'm a broken record nowadays with this Giants team. I don't know what's wrong with this team. They're just so bad. They're the definition of a bad football team. And, the quarterback is not that great. But honestly, he didn't have that bad of a game this past weekend. It's really just everything else. It comes down from coaching, play calling, the construction of the roster, the guys not giving an effort. No one's in sync in anything. The defense looks lost. I don't even know what is going on anymore. I mean, Daniel Jones went 174 yards for 2 touchdowns. Tyrone Tracy, he had 66 yards. Malik Neighbors had 59 yards. It's just we're not syncing up on any level. And the offense has been an issue for a long time. I mean, I don't think the Commanders' defense is fantastic. We should be able to put up more than 22 points. I can't even remember the last time the Giants won a blowout game of 41-10. We are just not a good football team. And these 2-point conversions, I don't know anymore. They're just not working, and it's literally abysmal. And every single play that we have a touchdown, we go for it because we have 3 injured kickers. First of all, never knew that many kickers could be on IR. I have 2 kickers on IR and a punter. That only happens to the Giants, man. It just doesn't make any sense. I can't even think of much good from this game. If I was going to go ahead.
No, I was going to say good for you guys. I mean, look. Outside of that fumble, which led to our touchdown, technically you guys outscored us. We won the turnover battle, but you guys technically had enough to win without that turnover.
We always have enough to win, but we don't do it.
Yeah, no, that was a really bad fumble by Daniel Jones. But look, Daniel Jones, I mean, he had a QBR of 72. It's not like he played a bad game. He went 20 for 26 outside the fumble. I mean, he was torching us running-wise. He had more rushing yards than Jaden Daniels.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Daniel Jones had a pretty good game this past weekend.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Obviously, we know Daniel Jones is not going to be back. Should Brian Dable be back?
At this point, man, I don't know. I don't know.
Because I like him as a coach, but I don't know if he has that team still.
There was the stat that I think was the past 6 seasons we started out of the 5 of those we started 2-7. We're just not winning football games. We're a losing organization. We can't compete in the division in any sense. I am not going to be shocked when we get swept by the division this year. Already got swept by the Commanders. Already lost one to the Eagles and already lost one to the Cowboys. And listen, I know the Cowboys have their issues, but they're going to beat the Giants. We just don't. We just cannot field a competitive football team in this division, and I don't know why. There's plenty of talent on the defensive line. You got Brian Burns, you got Dexter Lawrence, you got now Azeez Ojulari who's showing out. But then you look at the opposite side of the ball with the offensive line, and it's on Joe Shane. He literally came on Hard Knocks and said, why would we pay a running back to just be handed off the ball from someone we just paid $160 million to. Well, yeah, you said you needed to address the line, but all-pro left tackle Andrew Thomas goes down, and now you have no backup plan. You were supposed to address that backup plan, and you did not. So I'm more so out on Shane. I want to give Dable the benefit of the doubt, but if Shane goes, Dable's going to go. It's a package deal. I don't see a situation where Dable will stay and just show Shane will leave. It all comes down to roster construction. It all comes down to guys not performing. Deontay Banks just jogging. He got absolutely torched this weekend. Okay. And that's supposed to be our CB1. So that's all I got.
So who's your player of the game?
Player of the game? I don't even know if I have one. Probably Daniel Jones.
Yeah, probably.
I mean,
which is crazy.
That really crazy rushing touchdown where he trucked those two guys. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was actually. I was like, oof, that is not a good look, guys. Daniel Jones had a good game. You can't complain about Daniel Jones this week.
No.
That being said, he still should not be coming back next year. Look, any other thoughts on the Giants before we move on?
It's going to be a long season for you guys now.
Yeah, I've accepted it. We tank our way, so.
There we go. I like that. Anyway,
tank for Shador.
Like his dad would let him come to New York.
I mean, I think it'll be a good fit, honestly. But I think,
Bright lights again.
Yeah. Shador, Neighbors. But I also think Cam Ward would be a problem in New York. But I hope you guys just pass and take a running back or something like that. So
that would be hilarious. No, Tyrone Tracy looks like to be the running back of the future. There, he looks good.
Yeah, he looks real good.
So let's go to the Commander side of this. Look, we won the turnover battle. Dante Fowler looks like a steal in free agency now. Has a forced fumble now, a pick six, the only pick six of the division this year, by the way. Just putting that out there. Top 3 in sacks in the division. Look, the guy is fantastic. I have no complaints. Look, the defense could have done better. Yes, we know running is our weakness, and that's just something that any Dan Quinn defense is going to have to deal with is, getting beat by good running teams. And, I mean, look, Tyrone Tracy had 66 yards on 16 rushes. That's actually pretty decent defense on a really good rusher. I'll take that. Daniel Jones tore us up. But, look, at the end of the day, if Daniel Jones has to rush to beat us, so be it. Our offense looked great. I have no complaints. Terry McLaurin. Guys, I think we need to talk about it here because, we were questioning, is he a real number one? Is he not a real number one? Well, guess what? A real number one, despite only getting 19 yards, had 2 touchdowns on 3 targets. So, look, the guy is fantastic. I love, Terry.
The chemistry between him and Daniels is starting to click.
Oh, yeah. And not just him. Noah Brown really starting to pick it up now, too. Yeah, so, we'll see. I mean, Zach Ertz, who's usually been his safety blanket, only got 1 target this game. So, look, we knew how we were going to attack the Giants. It worked well. Our defense held up well enough. Rushing, wish we could have done more, but, you win what you can win. A win is a win. Look, now we're going to have our toughest stretch of the season. We're going to be playing Pittsburgh on Sunday, and then on Thursday Night Football, quick turnaround, we're playing Maurice's Eagles. That's going to be a tough game for both of us because we both play on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one, Maurice, but, it is what it is. We're both coming into there not fully rested. We'll see what happens. But, look, if we can get out of that stretch 1-1 or 2-0, that would be great. Because I feel really good that I don't see, they're definitely going to lose against that team. Like, the Ravens were the one team that you could definitely say was the toughest team on the schedule. Everybody else, the Giants, no offense to J-Tuck, they look like marshmallows right now. The Eagles, they have their ups and downs, but, Nick Siriani can lose them a game. We almost saw that this week. So, anything's possible at this point. If we can get past the Steelers, who look red hot, if we can win one game, I think we might go 5-1 or, 6-0 in the division. I think that's really possible. So we just have to see. But this, look, this game was a good game. It was a good game. We don't really get to sweep the Giants all that much, so I feel really good about that. That's just my player of the game is probably Dante Fowler Jr. Shout out to him, playing great defense. Definitely needs to be a part of this team moving forward. That's it. So I'll give it over to Maurice now to talk about the Dirty Birds and their almost upset.
Wait a minute, we're not the Dirty Birds. Where you get Dirty Birds?
Oh, that's right. I was thinking of Atlanta. Sorry.
Yeah. But anyway, before I continue, I do have a scratchy voice, so pardon my voice, but it's the opinions that matter. Before I begin, I did want to say something to J Tuck. I didn't get a chance earlier, but our good friend Rio, I started to listen to some of your content from Rio because both of you guys were doing the NFC East discussion panel on YouTube.
Yeah, they do like a round table type thing once a week. It's pretty good stuff.
I forgot that. Yeah, Roundtable Sports every Thursday night at Central Time, so it's 5 p.m. Central.
Yeah.
It's my guy Rio.
You guys and Philly Mike as well. You guys have really good discussions on there, and I was interested to hear your content because it's rare that we hear level-headed, level-minded Cowboys fans. They are few and far between.
Yeah.
So I got interested. That's how I got interested in your content.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And honestly, it's a gift and a curse, right? Because a lot of Cowboys fans don't like when I do that, but it's like you have to keep it real, right? So it's just like, I just feel like being honest, because a lot of us we can all come on here and just say, my team's going to go 17-0 or we're the best team in football. Like you can say like, no, the Eagles had a good draft. No, I actually like Jaden Daniels. Like, oh damn, well the Giants got Tyler Newbin. Like I love, like they don't want me to give any division credit, but it's like, we got to keep it real. Cause I think this is the only way us as content creators can progress forward. So appreciate that, man.
No problem at all. All right, let's get into the Philadelphia Eagles win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. We won 28-23. This was it became a nail biter at the end, and it shouldn't have been. Where do I begin? It begins and ends with our coach. He's putting this team in tough positions, and
Siriani.
It's starting to become it's becoming a hazard, and on field our talent is going to win us a lot of football games. We already know this. Jalen Hurts had a good game, 18 for 24, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns. Once again, no interceptions. We win most of our games when Jalen Hurts doesn't turn the ball over. Cool. Devontae Smith. I said this last week, and I'll say it again. He just has a knack for the spectacular when it comes to the catches. He just makes great catches. I don't know how he does it. But he had another great catch in the end zone this week. And our defense came to play. We had 2 sacks. Zach Bond has been a great find for us in free agency. The dude is everywhere. Josh Sweat had 2 sacks on the day. Cooper DeJean is looking good. He's looking good, man. And Quinyon Mitchell. The stats will never show it because they're cornerbacks, but Quinyon is getting a lot of receiver one duties now, especially with Slay being in and out. And he's proven himself. He's not getting torched. He's not getting burned a lot. He's holding his own against some of these better receivers in the league so far during our season schedule. And it's showing. So props to both of them. Our coach, he consistently goes for 2-point conversions. I don't know why. I think overall, when it was all said and done, he left 9 points on the board because he wouldn't kick a field goal. He would go for 2. And it's like an ego thing for him now. Once he gets going, he has to stick to whatever his first initiative was, which is either go for 2 or kick field goals. So when he goes for 2 and misses it on a touch push, he has to do it again. I guess that riles up the team. I don't get it.
He's trying to be Dan Campbell and failing.
Yeah, It doesn't always work for Dan Campbell either. But, at least Dan Campbell has the wherewithal to, okay, we got to win this football game. The football game comes first. And, sometimes the Eagles are getting bailed out from Jalen Hurts or Saquon or just a turnover, a key turnover, like the last game was. N'Kobe Dean had pretty much ended the game with a turnover with an interception in the end zone by Trevor Lawrence. We could have easily have lost this game to a 2-6 Jaguars team. And it would have been just as bad as the Falcons game. So he at this point is either going to be Howie Roseman or Jeffrey Lurie, the owner. He's going to have to sit down with him and say, hey, you got to put your ego aside, man. Make the right decisions on the field and put this team in the right position to win. Because if this keeps going, he's going to cost us a game. And I surely don't hope it's not a big game or a playoff game. Because if it is one of those games, he might not make it out of the stadium.
To be fair, I do want it to happen when it's against the Commanders. Just saying.
All right, Lucas.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry. I had to.
Lucas has been more confident than ever.
I know.
I'm allowed to be, okay?
All right,
It deserves it, but man, it's like, these Commanders fans, we're overboard. Like, I have a few friends who are Commander, they're talking about Super Bowl, and I'm like, well,
okay. First off, no.
MVP.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me make sure J Tuck knows where I stand on this. I am very happy that the Commanders are doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Maurice and Earl said I was crazy for saying that Jaden Daniels, under the right situation, could be the second best quarterback in the division. Now he's looking like the best one this season based off of stats and performance. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, last episode, I pulled out all the receipts. Mal had Jaden Daniels ranked 30th in her preseason quarterback rankings.
Oh my God. Okay, first of all, context is important. Context is important. You know that.
Yes. Mal does not rank rookie quarterbacks higher than Daniel Jones, apparently. So,
Daniel Jones, I'm done. See, context still matters.
I'm sorry, Mal. I'm sorry. Anyway, no, but so this is my my expectations moving forward, and I asked these guys what they thought a successful season for the Commanders would be. They said to win the division. I think that's more than possible at this point, right?
Sure.
So win the division. I think Earl said only lose one game in the division. I don't know if that will probably will happen at this point. Look. Would I love for them to win a playoff game? Absolutely. Do I expect them to? That's more debatable. Like, it depends on the matchup, I think. I really think it does. This team is still young. They still have a lot of holes, and getting like Marshawn Lattimore, who we'll talk about here in a minute, fills those holes, fills one of those holes, but they're still we're still in a retool, dude. Like, we were one of the worst rosters last year. And granted, we did a lot of turnaround, but there's still a lot more turnaround and getting of a lot more long-term pieces that we need to do. Okay, so, Look, it's a step, and I'm very happy. I'm glad that we're having this good of a start. I did not predict this much of a turnaround. I'm glad that it is, though. That being said, there's still room for improvement. And while I am being on a little bit of my high horse, and that is just partially because, I'm in a division against y'all, and, that's just, a little bit of smack talk here and there does not hurt anybody. At the end of the day, look, I am still trying to be as grounded as possible as a Commanders fan. And I'm sorry for hijacking Maurice's segment.
No, you're good, bro. You're good. This is a good time to be a Commanders fan. I'll admit that. I'll admit that. But before I go, I saved the best for last. We got to talk about it. The play of the year.
Oh, my gosh. That was crazy. Like,
that was so cool.
Like, I'm not trying to be like, gosh, no. I'll save it for after the pod because there's no way of not making that inappropriate. But, like, look, that play, oh, my gosh. And, like, there's no way he practiced that, right? So, like,
no way.
Oh my gosh! Like, J-Tuck, come on, you gotta be thinking something about that.
Oh yeah, man, it's the instincts, right? It's the instincts, the athleticism, all in display. Like, and to even have the courage to attempt it, man. It's kind of because man, it could have went the other way. He could have got flipped on the back of his neck or something. So, yeah, it was one of those plays that sometimes you see like the Zeke leap and different things like the Odell catch. Like, oh, okay, more people going to try it. I don't think people are going to try to duplicate that, man.
No.
I think it's a one and done, man. So, yeah, it's crazy.
And I'm assuming he's your player of the game with 27 carries and 159 yards, one touchdown.
It'd be nice to have a running back that can do that in Dallas, but yeah.
You guys could have.
But we didn't call him. So.
I'm sorry, say that again, Maurice?
Or Derrick Henry?
Derrick Henry, yep. Yeah.
So Saquon's my player of the game. What went right was the coach not coaching. I don't know what else to say right there, but he might become a detriment for our team if he just keeps going rogue with some of these play calls. But besides that, we played a really bad team and we barely won. We gotta get our stuff together because although the Cowboys are looking a little dark right now, they still have talent on their team, and we're going away to their place. So it's going to be a good game.
No, I got you. All right, well, Mal, how about we just briefly go over the trade deadline?
Yeah, so trade deadline was today at 4 o'clock, guys. Everything's in for now. And we had two moves in the NFC East, and that was with the Cowboys and the Commanders. So the Commanders got Jonathan Mingo. I said Cowboys, right? Yeah, Cowboys got Jonathan Mingo. Commanders got Marshawn Lattimore from the Saints. Now,
let's go.
Question for both you, Lucas and J-Tuck. How much do you think these moves move the needle for your team?
J-Tuck, you're the guest. You go first, bud.
0. 0. Yeah, I like Jonathan Mingo coming out of Ole Miss in the draft, but it's just like right now, one, we don't have the quarterback to even go with it. So I think this is more about a futuristic play. This is more about a play for next year. We can see the impact, but as far as moving the needle this year, it doesn't even do it for me at all.
Well, you don't want to see him blocking for Trey Lance as Trey Lance is running down the field.
Yeah. Carpe Tanke, whatever your slogan is, man. No. Jonathan Mingo moves the needle none. I think a lot of Cowboys fans are still scratching their head, so I don't understand the timing of it and also the why. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Look, cornerback probably would have been either cornerback or edge would have been a first-round pick for us. It still might be. But getting Marshawn Lattimore is a big step here. It puts a lot of pressure off of Benjamin St-Juste, who's not a number one corner. Let's be clear. He's probably a number 2 or 3. Probably, best suited as a high-profile 3. But look, it also helps Mikey Sanders still go from the outside into the inside, which is the nickel is his natural position. So, look, it's a big upgrade. And here's the interesting thing about the trade. So we sent a third, a fourth, and a sixth. We already had a third from the Jahan Dotson trade. Thank you, Maurice. And we kept that one. We actually sent our own, which is going to be a worse third round than that one because it was a Dolphins for third rounder, right? And then we sent our own fourth. And then the sixth was actually from a trade earlier in the season. I can't remember the player's name right now, but we traded one of our D tackles to New Orleans, and they sent us a 6, so we sent that back. So really, at the end of the day, he called us end of the depth chart D tackle, Jahan Dotson, and a 4th-round pick to not only get Lattimore, but also get a 5th-round pick back. I think that's a big win. That is a huge win. And honestly, J-Tuck, I'm kind of worried about Jerry Jones is not like his 4th-round picks anymore because almost any other team could have gotten Jonathan Mingo for like a 6th-round pick, probably. So, I don't know why Jerry decided to overpay there. That seems...
They're taking advantage of the elderly, it seems.
Right? Yeah, right? So, anyway, that's just my thoughts. But I think we can go ahead to the mailbag, right, Maurice?
Yeah.
Yes, we can. And that was the chair, by the way.
But I didn't think it was anything else. What did you think I thought it was?
No, just clear.
Okay.
I put that in the group chat.
Oh dear. Oh dear heavens.
All right, let's get to the group chat. Let's get to the mailbag. The mailbag this week has 2 questions. And the first question is, and this was questioned by me actually, who has the best home field advantage in the division?
Ooh.
Not the Giants.
No, not the Giants.
Can't win at
I
home.
think I don't think Cowboys fans have it this year. I think it's a tie. Actually, the Commanders have not lost at home this season.
And Philadelphia by far has the best home field advantage.
I would say that.
I'm just
This
saying.
is coming from a Cowboys fan too.
Yeah, probably. But look, we are undefeated at home. That's all I'm saying.
That
I'm
link is
saying.
hostile, though, man.
Yeah, it's hostile. It's
yeah.
it's football. It's
Look, I grew up in Delaware, less than 2 hours from Philly. I get it. I'm just saying. Oh, wait a second, Maurice. Is there any other? I think I posed a question in there.
Yes, there is. This is a funny one to ask now. So, is there a prize for the host whose team wins the division this year?
I think there should be.
How did you ask the question? The first one to answer.
Because I wanted to bring this up anyway, and actually, I think that we should do a tier type thing. Like if you win the Super Bowl, the other hosts have to buy a jersey of that person's choice, right? Mm-hmm. If you get to the Super Bowl, it's like a T-shirt. If you get to the playoffs, it's like, and you don't have to be a division winner to get to the playoffs. So if you get to the playoffs, you get like some type of like mug or something, and if you won the division, you get a cap.
A cap? Okay.
Yeah, like a snapback. Like, obviously we need to get Earl on this, but J-Tuck, does that not sound fair? And it puts a little bit more. And I think, and it puts more on the line for everybody too.
Well, I mean, it's kind of easy to say that when you're kind of in the lead, but
yeah. Well, how often am I in the lead?
Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of fun to kind of toss a little extra in the bag when you're in the lead. So yeah, but I think that's a fair bet.
So, or is that something you two would be down for? We'll still have to ask Earl. We'll ask him next.
Yeah, I'm
week,
cool with it.
I'm cool with it too.
So the winner of the division gets a cap.
I'm gonna wind up spending a lot of money for my team to be terrible.
Hey, anything could happen. Shador Sanders could come save you.
You know what? I have no hope anymore.
Oh, Mal, it's okay.
It's okay.
My team's been there. I've been through it. It gets better after another 5 years.
I saw a tweet today that was really funny that said the Giants are 5 years from being 3 years away.
That is actually really funny.
I love that because it's true.
Okay. Well, anyway, now getting to this next portion. Now, Earl usually does that. He's not here. We're praying for you, buddy. I know your job is tough today. I'm going to try my best on this, guys, and I can't promise that I'm going to do this right, but I'm going to try it. So, guys, it's time for Who's That Football Player? Nene. So, this week we did a Dallas Cowboys player. So, J-Tuck, I'm curious to see if you can figure out who this football player is.
All right, let's do it.
Give me 1 second. I'm pulling it up now. So, this Dallas Cowboys player in the 2003 season had 34 receptions, 672 yards, and 2 touchdowns. His career awards include an all-rookie team and led the NFL in yards per reception in 2003. Guys, who's that football player? I'll start with J-Tuck.
Ooh, 2003. All-rookie.
Led the NFL in yards per reception.
Now, he was not a rookie in 2003, to be clear.
Oh, okay.
No, these are just career awards.
Okay.
I want to go with Dez Bryant. I'm trying to think who else could it possibly have been. I'm going to say Dez. I don't think that's right though.
In 2003?
Yeah.
Oh.
2003, yes.
Oh.
Do you want to take back that and try it again?
Oh, yeah. Let me take that. Oh, yeah.
I was about to say, Dez Bryant definitely did not play in 2003.
Oh, crap, man. I have no clue.
You have no clue? Maurice?
It's got to be...
I'll come back to you, J-Tuck.
Okay.
It's got to be... Joey Galloway was the number one receiver.
Mal?
Yes, Joey Galloway. I know this because my grandma used to talk about him all the time.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, because it wasn't Terry Glenn, so I would have to be Joey Galloway.
It was Joey Galloway, yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It wasn't his best year in terms of total yards with the Cowboys, but it was his best yards per carry. That's why yards per reception. That's why I chose that one.
Man, why would you bring up those days? That's the Quincy Carter years, man.
Look, I did not choose this. This was Earl's choice. These guys choose their who's that football player.
Bring up people from like the 70s and 80s, and we're like, dude, we weren't even born.
Okay, to be fair, I do that to stump Earl because Earl's like a football wizard when it comes to stuff.
Yeah,
it's not. Sense. It's honestly, it's almost more to not stump the fans. It's to stump Earl at this point. It's a personal challenge of mine.
Yeah, because I mean, those were some rough days for Cowboys fans.
Oh
man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
but Mal, it is time for our poll questions, right?
Yeah. So we had a poll question for the Commanders this week, and it is: where is Jaden Daniels in the NFL MVP race right now? First, top 3, top 5 are not in the race at all. Most people said top 3.
Okay, that seems about right. I think that's fair. I mean, top 3, top 5. I feel like is probably more accurate. He's not number 1. Look, there's some really good guys in that competition: Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. What's his name from Detroit? Goff. Patrick Mahomes cannot be in the MVP because until this past week he had more interceptions than touchdowns.
I mean, listen, he's still going to be in the race.
He will, but he won't win.
I mean, if they go undefeated, he's going to be in the race.
I guess. Anyway, so yeah, Jaden Daniels. I think, look, like nobody expected this big of a turnaround, and it's not just Jaden Daniels, but he's a big part of it. So definitely got to give him credit there. So now it's time for team trivia, and it is an Eagles trivia. So in Eagles franchise history, who has the most interceptions returned for a touchdown? I'll go with Jay Tuck first. Do you want to guess?
Returns for a touchdown in Eagles history?
Yes. Yep. Interception. Most interceptions returned for a touchdown.
Oh, interceptions.
Yes.
Ooh.
Returned for a touchdown.
I don't know. Asante Samuel?
Mal?
Honestly, I have no idea. No clue.
Just throw out a name, random name. You might get it right.
No, I'm only going to say this because I've seen him do it once. Eric Allen.
Okay, and Maurice?
It was between Eric Allen and I don't know this for sure. I'm not positive about this one. Or Bobby Taylor, for some reason, comes to mind.
Okay, make a choice.
I'm going to go Eric Allen as well.
Okay, Mal and Maurice, you are correct. It was Eric Allen with 5.
I was really out on a whim from one play that I saw.
I thought it was a good question. Allen was 1, Malcolm Jenkins 2, Sheldon Brown 3, and then we're getting into some Joe Scarapi. I don't even know how to say that. It's just one of those 60s players.
Listen,
Sonny Samuel's 15th, and who did you say it was? Bobby Taylor was 13th.
All right. Eric Allen is from that Eagles defense from the late 80s, early 90s, man. Yep. They were shut down. They were dangerous. If they just had an offense besides Randall, they would have been a real problem in the division.
That is more than fair. But let's go ahead, and I think Mal's going to wrap things up.
Yeah, so let's wrap things up, guys. We'll go over the Week 10 matchups this week. Giants are going to take on the Panthers in Germany this Sunday morning. Yep, that'll be an interesting battle for the number 1 pick bowl. Commanders versus Pittsburgh, and we have our NFC East matchup of Eagles versus Cowboys, which seems like it's not as exciting this year because Cowboys fans seem to have checked out.
Yeah.
So all the friendly banter on Twitter, I haven't seen it much because Cowboys fans are just like, yeah, whatever.
Hey, in Philadelphia, it's still Cowboys week. No matter who's playing, it's still Cowboys week. Hey, real quick, Tuck, is Micah going to play?
I would think so. I think we would lean towards seeing Micah play. There's nothing definitive saying, but from what I'm hearing, I think he's going to try to give it a go.
Okay.
That makes it more interesting.
It does.
All right, and on that note, Jay Tuck, thanks again for coming on. We very much
thanks
appreciate
for having
it.
me.
Tell people where they can follow you on social, and then and what's the name of your podcast again, all that good stuff, and then Mal will play us out.
Yeah, of course, you guys. Thanks for having me. You can find me on all social media platforms at jtuck151. My YouTube channel is CFO Sports, so come over there and subscribe. We have a fun time talking football over there. You can also find me every Thursday on Roundtable Sports with the NFC East podcast with my guy Rio and Al and Kid Blue talking NFC East, even though there's not a lot to talk about. So appreciate you guys for having me on, and best of luck for those of you who still have a football season to be excited about. But for me and a lot of Cowboys fans, it's draft season. Just did my first draft film breakdown on Deion Walker, defensive tackle out of the University of Kentucky, and we got a lot more coming up this week, so definitely tune in for that.
Awesome. Seriously, J-Tuck, thank you so much for coming on. You're welcome anytime. We always love to have everybody here. So
Thanks for having me.
Of course, literally
Absolutely.
No problem. And I'm with you on that. I don't have much of a football season to look forward to either. I just want to draft time, so see you in the basement. It's cozy down there.
I know.
But yeah, guys, follow J Tuck on everything, and make sure you follow us on Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Music at 13 Rings and NFC East Podcasts. Make sure you follow us on our socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, 13 Rings and NFC East Podcasts, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube as well, 13 Rings and NFC East Podcasts. Everybody have a great day. Thank you so much for listening.